High-stakes diplomatic talks between the United States and Iran have ended in Oman's capital of Muscat. The indirect negotiations were mediated by Oman's foreign minister, who spoke separately with the Iranian team led by the foreign minister Abbas Araghchi and with the Americans headed by the White House Special Advisor Steve Witkoff. Foreign Minister Araghchi was cautiously optimistic about the outcome of the meetings.
I think our negotiation with the U.S. delegation was in fact done in a good atmosphere. We were able to exchange our viewpoints, to express our concerns and our interests for a possible deal between the two sides on our nuclear question. I think it was a good start, a good beginning.
Iran says it only discussed its nuclear program and nothing else, and it was willing to discuss the level and purity of enrichment. It has again rejected any negotiations over its ballistic missile program. US negotiators wanted to address Iran's missile stockpile, its support for armed groups across the region, and concerns over human rights. Oman's foreign minister said the talks had been very serious, with results to be considered carefully in Tehran and Washington before any further talks can take place.
These talks will come in history books as one of the most significant, I would say, not only in 2026, but in the last few years. We're at the cusp of another conflict that we're trying very hard to avoid in the Gulf region. This is a region that's been bereft with many wars and violence and unsettled dynamics. The least that we need today is yet another war.
Iran wants sanctions lifted to ease the pressure on its economy, which led to widespread protests in Iranian cities in January. However, the United States has announced new sanctions targeting Iranian-linked oil trade. Iran's leadership remains worried that President Trump may still carry out his threats to strike Iran after a US naval buildup in the Arabian Gulf.
This US move is very unpredictable, and it comes into the personalistic style of Mr. Trump and his very close associates. And even if I would dare to say that there is an agreement on the US side in the interim, there could be an escalation from the Israeli side. So that's yet another complex element that needs to be factored in.
A collapse in diplomacy could push the region closer to confrontation, something Gulf states and global powers are keen to avoid. Nadia Swan, CGTN, Oman.